John, nice to meet you again. And today is Buddha's teaching anniversary, so I would like to invite you to share some of your wisdom, because very important to share Buddha's teaching in this world. This world needs Buddha teaching, very important. So please share some of your wisdom.
Thank you, Khenpo. Yeah, my name's John Sullard. I'm the president of the Dzogchen Sri Singha Foundation. And one of our goals of the foundation is to preserve and perpetuate Dzogchen lineage and Buddha's teachings. And I was a long-time practitioner of Zen Buddhism for a time. And I read a lot of books in the United States that were available. And it wasn't until I met Khenpo in 2001 actually. I took refuge with Khenpo in 2002 that I really understood what Buddhism was. And I'm really thankful for that, Khenpo. Thank you very much. Because I was somewhat lost. I read a lot of books. I'm not exactly the smartest candle on the, or the smartest person on the block, but you know, I'm not the dumbest either, but I had a hard time understanding the books that I was reading. And when you have a master, a teacher that knows the language and knows Buddhism, the teachings of Buddha, that was a great, great time in my life. And I still rejoice in that. And one of the reasons my intentions today is teaching is to help other people be relieved of their suffering and the cause of their suffering. And it's simple truths that set us free. And my basic teaching today is going to be some of the teachings that Buddha gave that, you know, our true nature, our nature as beings is good. Our essential nature is good. We're not bad people trying to become good people. We are basically good from beginningless time, and our path is to wake up to our goodness, to our true nature. And our suffering comes from the fact that we don't know who we are. And Buddha taught many, many teachings. I think it was like 84,000 sutras, 6,400,000 tantras. So there's a lot of different paths. There's 9 yanas or 9 vehicles on how to learn what path to come to realization of who we are. So there's a lot of ways. It's amazing to me how generous Buddha was in his teachings. So if whatever kind of background you have, or whatever kind of bringing up that you have, there are teachings that Buddha has that can bring you to the realization of your true nature. The other thing that I found was very, very good was that our nature is, we are our thinking. We are our thinking. And this reincarnates every single moment. Just moment by moment. And I remember reading about that in some of the Zen books, and I just didn't quite understand what they were talking about. You know, it was going from moment to moment. But with Khenpo's teachings, Buddha's direct teaching, it became very clear to me that, you know, we live in a very short period of time, almost beyond time. And that's where we are, and that's who we are. And we've been reincarnating since beginningless time, and we will keep reincarnating until we become Buddha. So that's sort of nice, actually. So if you have that kind of confidence that that's going to happen, well, we're Buddha's teachings, and what I hope to teach is there are quicker ways to do it. You know, there are faster ways of doing it, and there's more complete ways of doing it. But the basic thing that Buddha taught, and I've come to the realization of, is what we call bodhicitta. This is the big key to realizing our true nature, is to see that other people are suffering, other sentient beings are suffering, and that we want to relieve them of that suffering. But we also have in the back of our mind that this suffering is not so burdensome. It's sort of like they're in a dream, and we want to wake them up from that bad dream. It's like a little child that you know they're having a nightmare, and you want to wake them up. You know they're not really suffering, but you could see that they're suffering. You could see that they're moving around, and you just want to wake them up and tell them, hey, this is just a dream. So that's what I feel very confident about, that we can bring Buddha's teachings into this world and make them meaningful to the 21st century, because they're meaningful all times, and I think we can bring people to the path where they really understand why they suffer and how to stop that suffering. The other thing that I want to talk about a little bit is the ground Buddha, path Buddha, and result Buddha. Ground Buddha is the nature of our thinking. We've been primordial pure since beginningless time, and that's our ground Buddha. That's our nature. It's the nature of our thinking. That's who we are. Our path Buddha is the path on how to get to result Buddha, ultimate absolute Buddha. And that is our positive thinking. That's our path Buddha. You can call it Dharma or our 5 positive thinkings. And the first positive thinking is renunciation. Renunciation is basically that I want to be free of my suffering and the causes of my suffering. And those causes of my suffering are my 5 negative thinkings. You know, and I think that's pretty standard from across any kind of religion that you have or may have in this country. Is, you know, at the top of the list is anger. Next is jealousy. The third is greed. And the fourth is that old good standby is pride. And then the last one's probably the toughest is ignorance. If you're ignorant, it's hard to know that you're ignorant. And so that's the biggest one. That's our basic negative thing. And our ignorance is we don't know who we are. And we need to wake up to that fact. We don't know our true Buddha nature. So the Buddha taught at one time, and I think this is very important, is that if you have like 5 or 6 arrows in you, somebody shot you up, you're not going to ask where the arrows came from or who made the arrows or, you know, what the problems are here. You basically, you're hurting, and you want to come up with a strategy on how not to hurt anymore. And so what you're going to do is you're going to want to take the one that's most dangerous to your well-being, the one that's closer to a vital organ, like one that's next to your heart. And under the 5 negative thinkings, that would be anger. You want to take anger out. That's your target. You want to pull anger out, and that's something that you really need to focus on, and because that's the most dangerous. And then the rest, from my experience, are that you need to go through the process and realize that you want to decrease your anger. It's going to not be, you just can't say, I'm not going to be angry anymore. You're going to say, this is a goal that I want to achieve. And through the teachings, there's a lot of different kind of techniques that we can have to decrease that anger. There's a lot of different teachings that Buddha gave on how to decrease your anger. But the main thing is to be aware of it. So on this anniversary of Buddha's first teaching, I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that Buddha's teachings are very profound and vast. But the basic teaching is that our nature has been good from primordial beginning of time. And we just need to wake up to that fact.
Thanks, John. Very good. You practice, continue, and you will become Buddha.